Okay, Reverend Jackie Leccia.
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 Yeah.
Okay, you've heard that before. It's all yours.
Greetings. This morning, we come together to really celebrate the coming together of two very special people, Rick and Marcia, who have become not only an integral part of our lives and our spiritual growth, but also our dear, dear friends. And learning about their stories is a prelude to the kiss, as Marcia likes to say, the kiss being their wedding ceremony this afternoon. Now, the words in the processional that they chose are so meaningful to both of them that I wanted to include some of the phrases and some of the verses in our celebration this morning. I love the passion in your voice and the light that's in your eye. I don't know where this is leading, but I know that it is right. Somehow my soul feels pulled to yours, and I want you in my life. Love reached out and touched their hearts even before their first meeting. And it brought them closer together as their relationship progressed, and they became closer and formed a strong bond. They're not only soulmates, they're best friends. And they have many mutual interests, gifts, and talents that all revolve around music and ministry. But their stories both began with thoughts. Thoughts in their mind. Thoughts of love. It wasn't because they lacked love in their life. It was out of the growing awareness that God is infinite love, and there are unlimited possibilities for giving and receiving, experiencing and expressing love in our lives. And because Rick and Marcia were both on their own individual spiritual journeys for many, many years, their stories of how they met and how they used the truth principles really illustrate how truth can bring more happiness, more joy, and more love in your life. So Marcia just told us a little bit about her story, but she recognized at one point, although she was content with being alone, there was an inner desire that was coming and welling up inside of her, that she wanted a deeper kind of a personal love. And she felt a need for a spiritual community where she could share that love. And so she began journaling and writing about the love that she wanted and the kind she desired. And she used affirmative prayer to specify what she wanted, which she told us was her Science of Mind music man. Now, realizing that to attract that kind of a man, the man of her dreams, she began to work on being the best person that she could be. The man that the woman that the Science of Mind music man would fall in love with. I feel us coming together. I hear the music that fills your soul. Well, meanwhile, Rick was working on living a spiritually satisfying life, living authentically as he immersed himself in the music that he loved. Doors began to open for him for ways to share this with others, and he became the music director at the center where they would initially meet. At that time, Rick wasn't looking for a soulmate. But shortly before their first meeting, he had a vision that came to him in a dream that he was heading straight towards a spiritual relationship that was inevitable. And this relationship would be so meaningful that it would enhance his spiritual growth and change his direction. And Rick understood that that dream was spirit knocking on the door of his unconscious mind, telling him that there was something wonderful coming his way. So Rick continued going about his life, practicing meditation, affirmative prayer, and learning to express the qualities of love and life and intelligence and wisdom and peace and creativity and beauty and joy that are attributes of our Creator. Meanwhile, Marcia was doing the exact same thing. And knowing that the law of attraction says that like attracts like, Rick wanted a partner who had lived and was living a life attuned to spirit as he was doing. So he decided to develop the qualities that would attract his beloved and help her fall in love with him. Sound familiar? Both developing themselves spiritually. Both working on becoming the best that they could be so that the person, their beloved, would fall in love with them. And if we show up for each other and say what's in our hearts, who can tell what kind of magic world we might start? And when our lives wide open, we live our lives wide open, we are windows for the light. There's so much love when we show up for life. Well, when the Signs of Mind music man first saw Marcia, he recognized that she was the woman in their relationship that was indicated in his dreams. And Rick was determined to make a connection with her and to follow it wherever it led. And he stayed firm in that conviction that she was the one true love for him until Marcia knew it. I love the way you stepped right out, though it was risky ground to tread. I feel us coming together. I hear the music that fills your soul. Letting go of all fear, Marcia and Rick stepped out with love in their hearts without holding back. And although they were both very attractive people, that was not what drew them together. Each wanted a spiritual partner to walk side by side on the spiritual path and someone they could grow with. They had been attuning themselves to the highest and the best qualities within themselves. And their loving vibrations lifted them and drew their paths closer and closer together until they finally found each other. When they met, they knew that this was a divine connection. And they felt that deep inner peace that each one had. And they felt together empowered to be the best that they could be. And before they met, they had accomplished many things on their own, and they had overcome personal things within themselves. But when they began their relationship, they recognized that there were latent possibilities within themselves waiting to be developed and expressed. Well, they were traveling, and then Marcia had a vision of palm trees that led them back here to Florida, where they're right now birthing a new creation formed out of their spiritual lives, their dreams, their visions, and their combined potential. This Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Beaches. What if there's somebody waiting for all those unwritten songs we hear? We got to take this chance together and sing it sweet and clear. Sounds like that, right? Well, here at the Center for Spiritual Living, we've grown to know and to love Marcia. and Rick, and we are inspired by the way the two of them live the principles, and they do practice the laws of mind action. They do that in everything they do. Their love is like that of our Creator. It encompasses and it surrounds not only each other, but their families of origin, and we have some here today, and some are decorating for the wedding later. But also, they love their friends and their new center spiritual family. So we look forward to growing with them and deepening our awareness that the same Spirit, God, that guided them to us is also guiding us on our path. And the love that they feel for each other and the love they feel for us is the same love that's available to everyone, everywhere present, surrounding and enfolding us at all times. So as we celebrate this special day in their lives, we see Rick and Marcia surrounded and enfolded and infused with the love of God. They are, as we are, always in the presence of all the love that we will ever need. And right here at the Center of Spiritual Living, we're grateful that God, Divine Mind, brought Rick and Marcia together and guided them here. And so it is.
Beloved in you.
please welcome Reverend Elizabeth Rann.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, this is wonderful to be here. Wonderful to be here today and be a part of this wonderful day and this wonderful expression. You are doing it beautifully, both of you. I commend you, Rick and Marcia, on your poise, on your manner, and on allowing us to join with you from the beginning of the day through the entire thing. Thank you so much. The music is wonderful, and it's been really a joy. Learning, hasn't it been fun? Learning more about how they met and how they drew each other into their lives, and to see how this wonderful teaching works. And those of you who are members in this spiritual community, it's so special for you to be in on the ground floor as this community gets going. And it's so special to be a part of such wonderful spiritual leadership. My husband Bill and I stepped down from our podium in Evanston just about 16 months ago after, I think, 16 years, wasn't it? He had founded an earlier church, and then together we had founded that church. And I want to mention something now to both Rick and, where did Rick go? Oh, there he is, okay. To both Rick and Marcia, that was very, very meaningful to me. And I want to share this with you. My part of the morning's service here is on marriage and the ministry. And that's a very special thing. Before I get to what I was going to say, I want to talk about those two things, marriage and the ministry. In the Catholic Church, they're both sacraments, out of 7 sacraments. There are 2 of them. Now, in the Catholic Church, they're mutually exclusive because you can't be married and be in the clergy. But in our teaching, we don't have sacraments, but we do have very sacred commitments that we make. And these are, I would say, the 2 biggest that you can make. Marriage is the adult commitment, of course, of 2 people to each other, committing for the rest of their lives to support each other, to be there for each other through sickness and through health. We don't happen to always use those words in the ceremony, but it's built in because it is a lifetime commitment. And it's a commitment of total self, not partial, total self. And in the ministry, it is also a commitment of total self. I am convinced that we go into the ministry because we really have no choice. I know in my own case, I really didn't intend to choose it. I wasn't consciously choosing it. It was what I did not want. I truly felt I did not want the ministry for myself. And even growing up, there was a little girl in my confirmation class who was the minister's daughter, and I thought, oh, that was terrible. I was so grateful I wasn't a minister's daughter, where you had to be so careful about what you said and what you did. And I didn't realize that. It isn't that you have to be so careful about what you do and what you say. What it really is that as you are growing spiritually, you do that as part of your calling. And I didn't know that. But that's what I came to find out. That we live with the greatest and highest integrity of which we're able not to be good or something like that, but because we can be no less. We can be no other way. And it's a path that we start on, and as we move along that path, that is how we live, with integrity and with transparency, so that we become as much as possible, not that our lives are common knowledge or anything like that, but we become an open book. And by that I mean we are honest and direct, and you really, really know what we're all about. You know that when we say, this is my thinking, that there's no duplicity here. We grow past that, and we do it because we have been so filled with what we've learned, and we love it so much, that what we want to do then is to continue to grow, and we can only do it by teaching and living at a higher level than we were able to do before we were in the ministry. And the ministry, of course, is a 24/7 calling. It is, as much as marriage is this is it for life, so is the ministry. The point that I started to make earlier, when we stepped down 16 months ago, the thing that moved me most about leaving, and we were leaving where we had lived all our lives, and we had a beautiful home on Lakeshore Drive looking over Belmont Harbor, and we had friends from all our lives were there, and everything was there. Our lives were there. And we packed up and we moved down here, and all of a sudden, here we were. But what I want to tell you is what happened as people were coming up and saying goodbye during the 2 or 3 months when we were saying goodbye to everybody. And we heard again and again, people would come up and say, I want to thank you. You changed my life. Changed, and I heard this from people that, really? I mean, these are wonderful people, but I didn't see the change, and I wasn't looking for it. But I knew they were there on Sundays, and they were having they were a good representative in the church, and they were volunteering, and they were doing things that I knew was good for them, and they were happy congregants. But the depth and the feeling of how their lives changed by having been in this teaching and by having emulated what they saw us doing and the way that they saw us living. I was so moved by that. It was the one thing that made me wish I could go back and do it all over again so that I could be aware of that. And I'm telling both of you this today. Be aware of this. Your people are growing and changing right along with you. And you are leading them. You are showing them how to do it by the way you live, by the way you love each other, by the way you treat each other and treat yourselves. This is one of the things, too, about marriage and the ministry. Ministry is a demanding calling because it is 24/7. Last night, about, I don't know, sometime after 1 o'clock, the phone rang. And I thought it was Marcia. I really almost picked up the phone and said, "Hi, Marcia." I thought, well, wouldn't she be surprised that I would know it would be, who else would be calling? No, of course. But we're not in Chicago anymore, so I didn't expect this call. But the calls come at 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was someone, not from Chicago, but from elsewhere, a practitioner client, someone in great pain, someone in great need. And the phone was picked up on the first ring, and I was with her on the call for probably 45 minutes, and then moving along. And it was so appropriate that happened last night for me to share with you that this is just what we live with. And sometimes we find it hard to take care of ourselves because we get so caught up and we think we can do it all. And we think we can do it all ourselves. And we can't. We grow, we can do much more than we ever could have before. We can maybe do much more than lots of other people, I don't know. We don't usually live competitively, we live creatively, not competitively. We live by using our minds. And as we plan our lives, knowing that we are one with that which created us, and we are imbued with the divine spiritual qualities of life, light, love, power, peace, beauty, and joy. Just think about that. Every one of you is imbued with those qualities. They're yours. They're your divine birthright. And we in the ministry are calling them forth gently, never with great urgency, but just gentle, welcoming, calling them forth. so that you can be all that you can be, all that you want to be. And I like to think of how we chart our lives a little bit differently than what Marcia was expressing. Because what I found, and I know she finds the same thing, both of you do, all of you do, is that when we are on a spiritual path and we are using spiritual mind treatment and we are using what we call the principles of our teaching, we do chart our lives, but in a very general way, because what happens is the infinite intelligence of spirit, which is centered within us, brings into our lives so much better than we could ever choose ourselves. I could never sit down and really think of all the wonderful things that come into my life, because they come not unbidden and they don't come unexpectedly, but they come as a joyous surprise. Oh, look what Spirit brought me today. And this goes on, and I like to think that when Spirit is responding to a treatment or a prayer request, an affirmative prayer request, I would always say, when Spirit or God or higher power, whatever you want to call, does something, it doesn't do just one thing. It does 17 other things. I don't know where I picked the word 17, but it's a magic number to me. Spirit does 17 other things that are wonderful in your life and wonderful in my life, so that not only does this wonderful thing happen, these wonderful people come together, and this wonderful music man in your life and this wonderful spiritual leader in your life, not only that, but it brings all this other panoply of good, great things. The potentiality is endless, and it takes its own little manifestation right here and begins to show itself, so that you get to choose more and better and grow, and so does everybody else. And that's really what happens. Now there's one other extremely important thing here, because we all know that when we make these huge commitments, which are marriage, ministry, it is the end of one story and the beginning of another in our lives. And that's what we're witnessing today. And we're all so pleased to be a part of it. We're so deeply grateful that you are sharing your joy with us. And so as you share this joy, we know that you are leading your group, your congregation, your spiritual community to a higher level. And I don't know if anyone has told you this before, but this is so important. The leadership does the guidance, the initial guidance of your community. And the more people you have doing this, can be a good thing, can be a bad thing. Lots of people doesn't necessarily mean better, because lots of the wrong people doesn't make it right, doesn't make it good. Lots of the right people make it right. What makes the right people? The right people aren't people that come that way. They're people who are committed a certain way. They're people who want to live on principle, who want what we teach, and who want what we have, and who want what we're living with, and want that in their lives, and choose to live these principles, and choose to study and learn them. Because the growth of this wonderful spiritual community, and I've been in many science-defying churches across the country. I know, we merged just recently, our two groups of science-defying churches merged. So I don't know all the ministers personally in the other group, but I do in the group that I was with for so many years, have been with. And also I know the others by name, so I know them all very well. And my point, I forgot my point. My point was really a good point. No, the point was this, that the people that you want in your community helping you guide your church along are committed people living on principle, so that they too are living lives of integrity and transparency And I want all of you to please remember that Marcia and Rick are two people. You are many, soon to be many, many more. It is up to you to build this community, not to them. They are the spiritual guides for you. It is up to you to share this feeling, to be there for your friends and your people, and to support your community in any way that you can. But it's sometimes people think, and sometimes ministers think, that it's really up to them to get out and, oh, we better do this to build a church, we better do that to build a church. And remember, please, we teach that we work not competitively, creatively. We work here. We work through consciousness. And your consciousness needs to be one of love and acceptance and love and dedication for these principals and these teachers. And this is my message to you. And I send it with all my love. And I just know that everything is so wonderful in both your lives and in the spiritual community today and every day. And I mean that. You guys are terrific.
Okay. I think we need to stand for this one. Yeah. I'll tell you right now, we're running a little long and it's just okay. So if you want to stretch, this is your opportunity to think about what you want. Bonnie is going to lead us and you are all singing with me, okay? Got it?
What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? What do I want? What do I desire? What will bring me to my highest good? Prosperity,
Prosperity.
I claim it.
I claim it.
Abundance,
Abundance
is mine.
is mine.
Love,
Love
flows through me.
flows through me.
I feel joy.
I feel joy
All the time.
all the time.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I claim it.
I claim it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I am it.
I am it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
Peace.
Peace
Fills my heart.
fills my heart.
I surrender.
I surrender
Everything.
everything.
Health
Health
is my birthright.
is my birthright.
Passion.
Passion.
Helps me sing.
Help me sing.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I claim it.
I claim it.
It is mine.
It is mine.
I can have it.
I can have it.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
I am it.
I am it.
It's my time.
It's my time.
I release
I release
and let go.
and let go.
I accept
I accept
what is mine.
what is mine.
I can have
I can have
what I want.
what I want.
And let spirit,
Let spirit
wreck the flow.
Like the flow.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Life is fun.
Life is fun.
Life is great.
Life is great.
The song is done.
The song is
Woo!
Please welcome Reverend William
Bill.
Arrott.
Don't tell him his name. It's
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking me.
Okay.
This is a great day to be here, I'll tell you. Oh, me. Should want to say this, but one of my ministers I greatly admired over the years was a man named Dr. Frank Richelieu. And he often said that when for speaking in church. When the butterflies go, you're in trouble. Well, Reverend Elizabeth had a set of butterflies this morning, and she wanted me to take her talk today. I could never have given a talk like that, like she just gave. This is a full day, so I'll keep my remarks short. It's very auspicious that Reverend Marcia and Rick are getting married today of all days, because throughout the Christian world, this is Palm Sunday. Because this is a day of triumph and transformation. This was the day with his triumphant entrance into Jerusalem that Jesus declared who he was. And in so doing, transformed the world. He declared not only his own divinity, but the divinity of every one of us. Now today, Marcia and Rick are declaring not only their love and commitment to each other, but also their love and commitment to the work they do here together as minister and practitioner at the Center for Spiritual Living at the Palm Beaches. Their love for each of us, and their commitment to building a community of love and service. And in so doing, they are helping transform the world in which we all live. You're very fortunate to have the kind of leadership that Marcia and Rick bring, male and female, the head and the heart, the intellect, the soul, teaching and healing, the words and the music, all in one damn fine-looking package. They complement each other beautifully. In fact, they bring what no single religious leader can offer. Not even the Pope or the Dalai Lama. My authority for saying so is the Dalai Lama himself. Because when I first met the Dalai Lama many years ago, when he came to Wheaton, Illinois, that's quite a place for the Dalai Lama to come, because in case you don't know it, that's Billy Graham territory. That's where he started his ministry. But he gave a wonderful talk. At the end of the talk, he had a question and answer period, and somebody gave him a question about a dispute between a husband and a wife. And he gave a beautiful answer, and then it said at the very end, but of course, I'm not really qualified to talk about that. Unlike either the Pope or the Dalai Lama, Marcia and Rick bring an intimate knowledge of the joys and the pain, the challenges and the benefits of close relationship. The strength that comes from mutual support, and the creative dynamism that comes with polarity. The creative dynamism that comes from the interaction of paired opposites who share the same mission and mutually compatible goals. That's what can keep an organization such as this vital and alive and growing. I've known many variations on this theme. I've known many highly successful churches with dedicated husband and wife leadership. I've known others where the marriage was successful because the husband and the wife had separate churches. But I've also witnessed the damage, that lack of balance in the marriage and balance between the marriage and the church. I've witnessed firsthand the damage that lack of balance can do to both the church and the marriage. Because balance is important in everything that we do. But there's a particular form of balance that between the ministry and the membership that is crucial to the best interests of both. It has to do with the expectancy that the ministers and the practitioners will do it all. and the members just have to show up for the services and the classes. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work very well, and it certainly doesn't work for very long. I've known many people who come into this teaching and leave saying, it doesn't work for me. Or, it doesn't do anything for me. It's what I call the welfare spirituality. Expecting everything to be done for you. It doesn't work that way. It only works if you work it. If you do your part. Supported financially and by giving freely what you've already received. Anything that you give here, you've already received. You're just keeping the flow going. And becoming actively involved. Otherwise, it's just a social gathering or maybe an intellectual exercise, and often not even that. Because it makes you think. Surprisingly, people don't really want to think. Earlier I said that Palm Sunday was the day that Jesus declared who he was. And in so doing transformed the world. Actually, he didn't transform the world. Because by Thursday of that week, his world was reduced to just the 12 disciples. But what he said to them was, great works though I do, even greater works shall you do. It was they and the people they taught who transformed their world. So it is with Marcia and Rick. Their role as minister and practitioner is to teach and to heal. They can entertain and inspire beautifully, but that's the icing on the cake. The heart of it is the teaching and the healing. Because nothing happens until the people who come to them and to this center put the principles to work in their lives and allow the principles to work for them by working through them to heal and prosper and transform their own lives and the world they live in, which through the one mind, the mind of God, in which we all live and move and have our being. As we each transform our own world by living by principles, we transform the world in which we all live. But it starts with us, and it starts with our circle. We don't do it over somewhere on the other side of the world. We do it right where we are. And the great works that Marcia and Rick do, even greater works shall you do if you do your part. This is just one example. We sang earlier a song by Daniel Nemot. Daniel Nemot was the first music director for Elizabeth Lee and our church in Everson. Had no idea he was going to turn his life over to music at that time, but he sat there on Sunday morning and he transformed what he heard there into songs which he sang and played there for the first time anywhere. And since then, he has reached far more people than we could ever reach in several lifetimes. So you never know. You never know. It's one person at a time. They're transforming multitudes. We're reaching one person at a time. Because true leadership is not telling people what to do, but motivating them to do what they can do. Teaching them how to tap into their God-given inner resources. Not helping people in terms of their helplessness, but in terms of the inner wisdom that can guide and direct them. Not helping people cope with their problems, but showing them how to transcend the challenges that they face and grow. Your personal growth and the growth of this center is up to you. Marcia and Rick provide the tools, the firewood, but you have to light the fire and keep it going. The rewards for doing that are immeasurable. In my many years in the ministry, I've never seen a couple better equipped and more dedicated to the teaching than Marcia and Rick. Their vision for this center and the impact that it already has on this community and will continue to have through you and the many more people that you will attract by your example, by the way you practice these principles, and how it reflects in your lives. That's what people will see. And that's what will attract people to this teaching. Because they have seen what it has done for you and what you are doing for your world. And they'll want some of it. They'll want some of it. Now, as you begin to grasp this teaching and add your vision to their vision, what follows will simply amaze you. It will simply amaze you. Now, I'd like to close with a special treatment of prayer, thanksgiving, and an appreciation for Reverend Marcia and Rick for their marriage, for this center, for each of you, and as you learn how to tap into your own divinity, for the great good that is coming through you into the world that we are creating for ourselves and for those who will follow us. So now let's know together that there is only one life. That life is the life of God. That life is perfect. That life is your life. That life is my life. That life is the life of this center. That life is the life of the world that we create for ourselves. We bring with us all of the divine spiritual qualities of God are resident within us, and we give thanks for this realization, knowing that they are seeking, demanding to express through us as we allow them to. And with them comes the guidance, directed by love, supported by infinite wisdom, an unlimited power that enables each of us to do what we are called upon to do. Joyfully. 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 And for this we give thanks. Let it be so, and so it is.
So it is.